The night shift has a way of turning even the most ordinary places into something cold and alien. When the sun goes down and the rest of the world goes to sleep, those left working in the shadows experience a side of reality that most people never see. It's a time when silence feels heavy, and every flicker of a fluorescent light or creak of a floorboard feels like a warning. Tonight, I'm bringing you 4 disturbing true night shift horror stories that will make you grateful you're safe at home in bed. Lock your doors, turn down the lights. This is Night Tales. The hotel guest who wasn't. I used to work the night shift at a small 3-story hotel about a year ago. It wasn't a busy place, usually only 10 or 15 rooms occupied on weeknights. I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., mostly sitting behind the desk doing paperwork or watching YouTube. One night, around 11 p.m., a man buzzed to be let in. He looked to be in his mid-40s, wearing a baseball cap and carrying a backpack. He asked for a room. I swiped his card, or so I thought, and gave him the key to room 214. He stared at me for a few seconds too long before heading to the elevator. An hour later, I saw him sitting in the lobby lounge, staring at a blank TV screen. He wasn't on his phone, he was just staring. I checked the system, and to my horror, room 214 was listed as vacant. There was no record of his check-in or any payment. I called the room, no answer. I checked the key card logs. The door had never been opened. He had never even gone upstairs. For hours, he wandered the hallways, standing outside guest room doors and watching me from the shadows. When the police finally arrived at 4 a.m., they discovered his credit card was stolen and he had no reservation. He had been pretending to be a guest just to gain access to the building and stalk the halls. I still don't know what his plan was, but the way he watched me through that blank TV screen makes my stomach drop every time I remember it. The Gas Station Observer. My name is Meredith, and I work the night shift at a tiny gas station off a lonely county road. It was a quiet job until a man named Paul started showing up. He didn't head for the coffee or chips. He just stood at the counter, staring at me with a strange familiarity. He knew my name, even though I wasn't wearing a name tag. He told me he liked my handwriting on the whiteboard, noticing specific details like how I used slashes instead of dots over my eyes. It was unsettling. He started appearing randomly, sometimes sitting in his car at the edge of the lot with his lights off. One night I found a Polaroid photo on the counter. It was a picture of me refilling the windshield washer bin, taken from just a few feet away. My name was written over and over on the back in tight, scribbled loops. When I finally called the police, they found a notepad in his car filled with my schedule, my clothes, and my movements. He kept telling the officers he was just a curious guy. I transferred to another station 2 hours away, but even now, when I see headlights behind me for too long, I feel the back of my neck tingle. The Vanishing Cars. I'm a 22-year-old female working the weekend night shift at a 24-hour gas station. Just last night, my coworker Max and his friend Ben came in around 2:30 a.m. They noticed a car parked in the lot with its lights off but the engine running. The driver claimed he was waiting for a DoorDash order, but I hadn't received an order in hours. Max and Ben stayed outside, and for an entire hour, they saw the man in the car watching them and texting. When they confronted him, he pretended not to speak English, then suddenly sped away. Creepier still, another brand new car with no license plates had pulled in and followed the first car out. The next night at 3 a.m., the car came back. A group of 4 guys came into the store and warned me about a Subaru with no plates sitting at the far end of the lot. They overheard the men inside arguing and pointing toward the store doors. The group stayed with me until the car eventually reversed and drove off. I realized then that if those people hadn't been there, I might have been kidnapped, or worse. To have the same car return 2 nights in a row, parking where I couldn't see it from the register, proved my paranoia was justified. The Hand Under the Desk. My name is Daniel, and I work the overnight shift at a small rural motel. Behind the front desk is a back office lounge where I usually sit. One Tuesday night at 2 a.m., the lobby bell rang. I went to the front, but the lobby was empty. 10 minutes later, it rang again. Empty again. I checked the parking lot, but there wasn't a soul in sight. I decided to sit right behind the front desk in the dark, waiting to catch whoever was messing with me. I sat there for 20 minutes in total silence. Just as I started to doze off, the bell rang. I froze as I saw a pale hand reach up from under the desk, right in front of me, and press the bell. I bolted to the back office and locked the door. Looking at the security monitors, I saw a head poke out from behind the desk. A man in a hoodie crawled out on his hands and knees, then began pacing the lobby, looking for something, or someone. He even came to the back office and rattled the doorknob. The police arrived, but he had already slipped out. The thought that he had been crouching just inches from my feet for hours, waiting for the right moment, is something I will never be able to forget. The night shift is a lonely place, and sometimes you aren't as alone as you think. Always trust your gut when the silence starts to feel a little too heavy. I am Seifel, and you are watching Night Tales. Sweet dreams, if you can.